All right, guys, let's come on in if we can now. So this is my friend Tori Cohen. Me and Holly thought it'd be really cool to have her do this Instagram training. First of all, she just started her own, is it social media consulting in general or more Instagram?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's Instagram focused. I'm certified in all of them, but I personally like Instagram the best.
Okay. So she does that, but she actually used to be a Beachbody coach, and it wasn't some she hates Beachbody thing. Just life happened, and she had and pursued those. So I love though that she has the perspective of what we do, but also a totally outside perspective. She's not a Beachbody coach telling us how to do Instagram. She's an Instagram person telling us how to do Instagram. So I thought she would just be really great. She is an amazing woman. When were you? 2014 or 2015, Tori?
2014.
She was Miss Florida in 2014, right? She won
my husband.
Competition at, is it Miss America or Miss United States?
Miss America, yeah.
Miss America. So that was really good for her business for a few months, as you can imagine.
It helped. Unfair advantage.
Some girl, she's been doing her own thing ever since, has had lots of cool opportunities to speak and travel, and so that's it. Take it away, Tori.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to just I would love this to be somewhat of a free-for-all in the sense of I want this to be conversational as well. So if you guys have questions, I know we're probably all in different areas of Instagram. Maybe you're just now getting started. Maybe you've done a lot of Facebook and Instagram is a little different. It's a completely different platform. And so I want to preface it with that. The way I would go about Facebook and the way I would go about Instagram is a completely different strategy. And so I just a raise of hands, just so I can kind of see who I have in my audience, who has an Instagram account that's, it's a business page. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So what I first want you guys, to start thinking about is, and I'm sure you do this because I know Dara and I know that she's a great teacher and I know Holly as well, is really thinking about who your avatar is. So who is buying from you most consistently? And so if I would just have to guess, it's probably your younger mom who shops at Target and loves her home workouts because it's flexible while her kids are running around and all of that kind of thing. So I would write down what worries her at night, what inspires her, give her a name. And so when you're thinking about this person, then it helps you when it comes to posting. So if I were Susie, if that's my avatar, what do I think Susie would actually gain from me posting whatever I'm going to post? Whether that's my kids, whether that's my home workout, whether that's my whole family, my husband, whether that's my weekend plans, what do I think Susie would like? And so that's what's going to kind of help me go along with my posting. And so you obviously know that girls probably buy from you more than guys do. So it's okay to keep it super girly. And what I really encourage you to do, and I know that you guys are, I'm sure, good at this because this is the basis of Beachbody, is number one, consistency. And number two, it is a social networking site. So they really want you to be social. So a little bit of homework for you is I would find 5 accounts that you really, really love. And someone who's doing it really well. So someone who's in the same genre as you, whether that might be workout programs. I know there's a girl, she doesn't have a huge following, but if you want to look at her, I think it's called like Faithfully Fit or something like that. What I like about it is she knows that white is aesthetically pleasing. And that's kind of another thing, you guys. I'm going to try to pull it up and show you guys. Yeah, so she has like a Faithfully Fit army. So this is very similar to something that you guys could do. So she has somewhat professional photos, it looks like, but you can take these types of photos on your phone. And then she kind of sporadically through there uses just black and white photos of different workouts. So she'll have a full body HIIT as just a white aesthetic. And then you can flip through and it'll show you a video of her doing that workout. And so that makes her feed look very clean and not cluttered. And so here's the thing about Instagram. People are actually less than a goldfish at this point. So goldfish is about 9 seconds or about 8 seconds. And so when people go to your feed, you got a couple seconds to captivate them to where they actually want to click the follow button. And so how that's going to happen is they're going to see one photo, but then they're going to go to your feed. And that's why your feed aesthetic is so important, is because that's when they're going to decide, ooh, do I want to follow this person? At my feed kind of as I'm the creative director of this feed, right? So I can put I always say my 9 square. So those first 9 photos, when you go to your Instagram page, is kind of what I'm looking at. So those 9 photos are very important, right? And so that's also when you really have to get a hold of your brand. So a question you can write down is, what's the number one action that I want my person to take most of the time? So if I'm posting a picture, what am I wanting out of it? Am I just wanting them to like it? Am I wanting them to buy something? Am I selling a program? Am I wanting them to comment in the section below, maybe their email address, comment an emoji? Maybe you're doing a challenge group, and so you say comment below if you're looking for some accountability, or like a click the link in my profile type of thing. And so I'm not sure if you guys have a landing page or your own website, but everyone I'm sure has a website that takes, I know you guys do, that takes you to the Beachbody site. So you want to make sure that that's in your profile. So we're going to backtrack a little bit and just talk about your profile. So I've been talking to Dare about this too, but when you're thinking about your actual bio, instead of just thinking about how much you can put about yourself, think about what's in it for your followers. And so we're humans, right? So we want to know, like, okay, well, what's in it for me? So for me, when I'm going to follow a lot of people at this point in my life, because I do Instagram strategy and because I run accounts for people, I love following accounts that I love the aesthetics. I love the types of photos they're posting. I love how creative they are because it inspires me, and then it helps me inspire, my clients. So for you guys, I would, follow those people who are inspiring you, but also have a very clean feed. So then when it comes to your bio, what's in it for them? You could even say something along the lines of, if you're looking for an online community, or if you're looking to lose weight in a healthy way, or you're looking for at-home workouts, or you're looking for workout inspiration, or hey, maybe you're a mom and X, Y, and Z, then you want to follow my crazy journey as I try to figure it all out and do it well, or something that's personal to you. And so that's like a very big thing that I say, okay, well, why am I here? I'm here to inspire. I'm here to empower you. I'm here to do this. And so then people are like, okay, well, I'll follow her because I know that I'm going to get inspiring posts out of it. Or I know that I'm going to see this. I know. And so there's, let me know if I'm rambling. If y'all guys, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Feel free. Waiting on you guys. I'm trying to get as much in as possible without taking you away from the pool the whole day. Say what? I can't tell if you're trying to talk to me, Dara.
You're doing great. You're slowing down a little bit, but it's probably on our end, so we're going to have everyone else disconnect from Wi-Fi so that it's all you. You're doing great.
Okay, cool.
Do questions at the end, maybe. So you just do your thing, and we'll do questions at the end.
Okay, cool. And so then next, what I kind of want to talk about is, I'll go back to that 9 Square. So if you can think about that 9 Square as a magazine or an editorial, or if you're going to pick up something and look through it because it's just beautiful, that's what I want you to think of your 9 Square to be. So for me, if I go to a page and it looks super cluttered, I'm just like, I'm a little overwhelmed, and I'm probably not going to click the follow button. Like, I want to know that it's going to be concise, it's going to be clean, it's going to be bright, it'll be vibrant, and there's certain ways that you can do that. So I'll share a couple of my favorite apps with you guys. So if you want to write these down, if I'm doing any type of quotes with white backgrounds, I'm either going to use WordSwag, which I'm sure you guys have used before, or an app called Rhonna. So it's RHONNA. So those are the two that I would use. Something that I would encourage you, Facebook and Instagram have changed their algorithm recently. The more words you have on a photo, the more they push it down in the algorithm. So I would encourage you to keep, if you have a beautiful photo that you've taken while you're working out or while you're doing anything, any words that you're going to put on the photo, I would encourage you to put it in your caption instead, and make sure that the photo looks really great. All over my photos when I was doing Beachbody, and it seemed to work well. But now they've changed it, and they just want really pretty images, and then you can put all the words in the captions. Or like I said, you can do just like Faithfully Fit Army. I loved how she did that, where she did a great clean aesthetic, and then she did like a gallery type thing. So if you're going to show an at-home workout, maybe think about doing a really clean image, and then where you push over, you slide over, and that's when you're showing the actual video. So then there's also ways to make designs with your Instagram. So if you were to go to my page, my personal Instagram, you'd see that I do my quotes all on one line. And so if you go, you'll see it's either going to be always all the left ones, all the middle, or all the right is a white background with like rose pink, color font. And so that's my personal brand, right? So you have to have your own personal brand. Although Beachbody is your brand, you as a person are unique, and no one else is like you. So that's kind of what I want to encourage you in is, okay, so your followers, they could choose. Why are they going to choose you? Why do they want to work with you specifically? And I think that that's why your why is so important, and getting that across in your Instagram page is just as important. So they want to know you. And there's a huge difference between what's appropriate to post on a story versus what's appropriate to post on your feed, right? And so stories are a lot more casual. Like, I would totally get on looking like this and just kind of talk about what I'm doing right now or anything, but I'm not going to post a not great resolution selfie of me looking like this either. I'm going to be a little bit more proactive and creative in trying to find a fun photo to post or a beautifully edited photo to post. Now with Beachbody, it might be a little different because you want to show the sweaty after post-workout type of photo. But I still don't want you posting something that's dimly lighted, not edited well. And so we want to do everything with excellence, right? So that's what we feel called to do, is do everything with excellence, even when we're completely gross. And that's what people see on Instagram. And so I would encourage you guys to, while you're all together, is really to collaborate, right? So the goal of Instagram is you want to get more followers. The goal really is to get at least that 10,000 mark so that you can do the swipe up and they can take you directly to your product page, and that would be ideal, right? And so I would make sure you're tagging everyone. There's ways that you can kind of, I like to say, like, invite the neighborhood, right? And so if you have a ton of people following you on Facebook, drive them to Instagram, right? So drive them to your page. And there's a couple ways you can do this, and I'll show you. Who has a good mailing list? Does anyone have a good mailing list? Like an email marketing? No? Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me find this again. Okay, so I would think about doing something along the lines of a giveaway, but to your Facebook followers. You know, take a screenshot of your Instagram once you have it up and running to where you're proud of your 9 square, right? So you've done 9 posts, they look great. The aesthetics of them look good. You have maybe a color story. You're using the same types of filters on all your photos. And then I would take a screenshot, post it on your Facebook page and say, make sure you guys are following my Instagram account. Go and comment on my most recent photo and tag 3 of your friends. And after you do that, you'll be in a drawing and you can get, you know, some free Shakeology, or you can be a part of my accountability group, or anything that you're promoting maybe that month. And that's a way to drive a little bit more traffic from your Facebook followers over to your Instagram. Or same thing if you might have a Twitter or you have a Pinterest following, just shooting everyone over and using all of your available resources to your advantage. And then this way, the more people, like I said, that you're following on Instagram, then you're kind of creating that online community. And so when I say be social, I'm not talking about you look great, girl, and leaving it at that. So I'm talking about actually engaging with people, things that they would have to comment back to you. So like start a conversation. Oh, how did you like that workout? Did you like this or did you like that better? What's your favorite part of Beachbody? Do you like the accountability or the Shakeology? You know, like asking questions to where they can actually engage back with you. And you're creating that social network, right? And so Instagram actually sees that and it goes into the algorithm and it helps push you up on people's feeds. So on average, people are following about 800 people is the average right now. So you kind of have to think about, you have 800 competitors, right? So 800 other people posting potentially around the same time. So why is yours going to get pushed up to the top, right? Why is yours going to show up on people's news feeds over those other 800 people you're competing against? And it's going to be because you have a great story and you have great quality photos. Who has portrait mode? Do you have an iPhone with portrait mode? A lot of you do. I don't. I wish I did. I like really need a new phone, especially for what I do. I'm like, is that a business expense? I don't know. But so I would encourage you to use features that are available to you to try to get the highest resolution of a shot that you can. Instagram likes that. And that also kind of helps your algorithm. And then what I want to talk to you about is kind of your, like the genre of your Instagram. So you can have different types of Instagram accounts, right? Or you can kind of have an umbrella and you have a lot of these going on at once. But this is just something to think about. You can write this down if you want to. You can have an educational Instagram, right? So what can they learn from me? And how does that lead to sales, right? So that's your educational site. So maybe you're teaching them about good nutrition, or maybe you're teaching them about the benefits of Shakeology, or you're teaching them about the benefits of certain workouts. So that kind of falls under the umbrella of education, right? And so the next umbrella would be inspiration. So what can I brighten her day with, right? So that's your motivational posts. But what you want to think about is, how does this convert to a customer, right? So if I'm going to brighten her day with this, how is this also going to convert into a paying client for me? And then the next one is the behind the scenes, right? So a lot of your behind the scenes are going to go on to your story. And the story feature is going to be a little bit more of your behind the scenes look, right? So what's going to interest them about your life? So maybe that's your kids, maybe that's going live, maybe that's filming your workouts and doing it on a fast forward video and throwing it up on your story. People want to see consistency. And I know that they preach that in Beachbody. The reason why people are going to follow you is because they know that you're consistently doing that. Unfortunately, that's the only reason why I stopped doing Beachbody, is because I started going like a crazy person. I couldn't stay consistent. And I knew personally that I wasn't going to sell anything or promote anything that I wasn't doing. And so that's what I want you guys to make sure that you're doing, is showing people that you're consistent and how it's changing your life, because it really can. I love Beachbody. And then there's the other aspect of it, which is the community. And I think that that's one of the most fun parts about Beachbody, is that you have that sense of online community. So what can you do to make them feel a part of the community, right? And so that's saying that I want to hear from you guys. Comment below what you're doing today, right? So you're posting a picture, maybe you're doing the newest program that Beachbody's launched, but maybe they're not a part of your accountability group, but you know they're doing it. So hey, comment below which video you're doing today, or comment below if you are a morning or a nighttime workout person, or do you do your Shakeology as a snack, or do you do it for breakfast? But really using those calls to action to get people involved on your Instagram account. And then also, what are you most excited to post about? People are going to know what excites you, and they're going to see what you're passionate about, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you, because this is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a huge stressor. So figure out really what you're passionate about, and then it's going to make it a lot easier for you to caption. It's going to be a lot easier for you to find photos that you love if it's something that you are passionate about. And then also, what has the most power to drive revenue for your business long term? And so getting them past that initial free group or whatever training you might be doing to hook them in, really engaging with them so that you know that they're not only going to be a customer for the month, but they're going to be a long-term customer, and maybe they'll buy into the business, or maybe they'll become a part of your team because of this relationship that you have created with them. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of that umbrella brand. So that was the 4 specifics. A lot of accounts choose one and they go with it. But I know that you guys are probably going to utilize all 4 because you're going to want to do your motivational Mondays, and you're going to do your workouts, and you're going to inspire them, and you're going to show the behind the scenes in your stories. And so I would encourage you to do somewhat of a like a discovery page for yourself, right? So you know the product and service that you're offering, you know how you're helping people, but I would think about, Susie, your person, right? So what's going to take her over the edge from, man, that's great for them, but it's not going to work for me, showing that person how this, we all know Dara has amazing abs, right? So let's be real. I always look at Dara and I'm like, if only. And, but what's going to take me from being like, oh, well, that's Dara, to, dang, that's possible for me if I actually put in the work, right? And so what would I have to see if I was Dara's ideal client to buy into the program that she's going to buy? And why does it really matter, right? So why does it matter to me? And then think about what's their pain point or frustration, and you're solving it, right? So you're solving the fact that maybe they're having such a hard time losing that baby weight, or they're having a really hard time balancing their hormones, and Shakeology is really going to help. Or maybe they love fast food and they love milkshakes, and they're like, I can never give that up. But you're showing them all the different flavors of Shakeology that they can buy into. These are all things that you can put on your Instagram account. And there's also, I would really encourage you to use the available resources that are free, like YouTube, right? So how do I take a really interesting photo and and really think about the right angles and the right lighting and how can I edit this to make it look beautiful. So people want to see beautiful photos. And you can put your Shakeology in a mason jar on a white countertop and make it look pretty with some fruit on it. But then behind the scenes, you can be like, let's be real, people, this is not how it looks every day, right? And so you can kind of show the reality versus Instagram on the feed and then in the stories and make it fun for yourself. And then you just kind of have to rinse and repeat, right? So once you start getting the hang of it, then you're able to be consistent with all of it. And then really thinking about strategy. So not just randomly posting every day, but having a strategy where you know, okay, maybe I want to do some type of checkerboard theme with my page. And so maybe I want every other photo to be, you know, something with more of a white background. And then the photos in between be a little bit brighter. But aesthetically, that's going to be pleasing to the eye. And so that's what I encourage you to keep considering, is that Instagram wants aesthetics. They want it to be aesthetically pleasing. And then another thing that you guys can do, does anyone have highlights on their page? Instagram highlights? Yay, nay, a couple of you? Okay. Perfect. Okay, so what I would encourage you to do is brand your highlights. So making those highlight stories. So if you go to mine, I don't know if you guys are on the Wi-Fi or not, but the same font that I use for my pictures that I post. So I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but when I do my Instagram, I have all of this line is mainly my faith and inspiration type stuff. So it'll go all the way down and it'll always be white on this side. I do that because my actual photos sometimes will have a lot of different colors in them. And so I knew that if it was all pictures all the time, it could potentially look cluttered. But because I add the white space, my page looks a lot cleaner. And then when I go up to my highlights up here, it's the same font and the same color as the photos that I use down here, right? So then it looks like I've thought about my brand and I'm utilizing it great. So those apps that I shared with you earlier are an easy way if you wanted to pick a white background and a word. So maybe you have I would try not to go over 4 highlights. I think it's a lot better when you go to a page and there's just 4 and people don't have to scroll. So maybe you have fitness, family, behind the scenes, and nutrition, right? And so you have your 4 kind of that we talked about before, or tips or workouts or daily life or whatever makes it uniquely you. And then brand those. And if you guys need any help with that, that's really easy for me. And so I could totally do that for you guys. And it would take me a couple minutes. And so that's another service that I offer as well. So that's a little bit of just an easy, quick fix that'll make your feed look a lot more clean, and then people can click through. And we also don't want to keep them long. So I wouldn't put like a million things in each highlight. I would keep them pretty quick so people don't have to swipe, right, and go to the next one, because they're not going to sit there and look at 50 things in each highlight. Okay. And then we want to think about your captions, right? So there's multiple ways that you can do this. And there's really like no right answer. There's so many accounts that do it really well with really short captions. And there's a lot of accounts that do it really well and they have super long captions. So I think this is really knowing your followers, right? So even doing something in your story where you take a poll and you ask your people, hey, if the captions are longer than 2 sentences, are you guys even reading it? Yes or no? And they will give you honest feedback, right? And so then if you know that they're not going to read more than 2 sentences, then it's a lot less hassle for you to come up with all of that content. And then if they're like, no, I absolutely love hearing the stories of your kids, please don't cut out your captions, then you know, okay, then I am going to continue doing my longer drawn out captions because that's what my followers really like. And so that's when I kind of say you have the creative direction, but just figure out what they like. It's all about them. And so making sure that they're happy, they're engaged, and they're inspired. And then, like you said, the goal is, you know, the ROI. So you want them to become a part of your community. You want them to be a part of your team, or you want them to buy one of your programs. Okay. And then the next thing, I'm literally brain dumping on you guys. So I hope that you're all not falling asleep over there, but different ways to grow your account is consistently engaging. So what I would say is not to just go follow a bunch of people and then unfollow them. Like that is like rule number one no-no of Instagram. Instagram will actually kind of catch on to that now because so many people were telling people to do that, and it's just not nice, right? You don't want to see that someone follows you, you follow them back, and a couple days later they unfollow you. What I would encourage you to do is find accounts that inspire you, like 3 of their photos, and comment on one of their photos. This doesn't mean that you have to follow them. But what it's going to do is if that person sees you 4 times in that notification line, they're much more likely to click and say, oh, I wonder who this person is, right? Just like you, when you have 100 to 200 likes or whatever it might be on your photos, you're probably not going to go through and look at every single person that liked your photo, but you're going to engage with everyone who commented on your photo, right? So you're going to be like, oh, this person commented, but I'm not exactly sure who this person is. Let me check them out. And then once they check you out, then your 9 square is going to be great. You're going to have some branding. You're going to have in your bio why they should follow you. And then it's much more likely that you're going to get a follower out of it. Does that make sense? So that's the rule of thumb. And it's not an exact science, but I've seen where it's helped my clients and me personally, is making sure that I'm engaging and it's comments that are actually something that they can respond to. I'm asking them a question, or if they have a really funny story that you're watching, sending them a little DM like, oh my gosh, this just made my day. Or maybe they're showing their daily activity with their babies, you know, and that's such a great idea. I need to do this with my child, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And so just making sure that you're being super social and you're not always selling, right? And so we kind of get in that trap sometimes with business, and you know it, right? So you get the DM and you're like, I knew that they were going to try to sell me something, right? So making sure that you're engaging personally before you're just reaching out to sell a program or get them to be a part of your team. Engage with their life, ask them questions, develop a relationship, and then they, number one, will start following you, see what you do, and then the program, it speaks for itself. And then they want to be a part of it. Or then you've developed a relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, girl, I just love you so much. I would love for you to be a part of this team. I think that you would be amazing at it. And then it's a little bit of an easier sell once you've developed that relationship prior. But like I said, we have to get the aesthetics and the brand of your Instagram kind of down pat first so that they actually will initially follow you and your feed isn't overwhelming to them. So questions. I know I just brain dumped on you guys for like over 30 minutes.
How many times a day should we post?
Okay. Say what?
In the feed.
Okay. I would suggest not posting over once a day on Instagram. I say pick something and then consistently do it. So if you're going to post once a day, then post once a day and then don't go 2 weeks without posting. Or if you decide to post 3 times a week, post 3 times a week and consistently do that. There's accounts that have crazy amounts of followings and they only post once a week, right? But they have the highest quality photos and that's great for their account. Or there's the people who post, twice every single day. But if you do that on Instagram, you have to know that each post has about a 12-hour lifespan. And so you want to wait 12 hours or you're going to kind of cut how well your previous post did, if that makes sense. And so that's how Instagram and Facebook differ just a little bit. Instagram, you can do a little better without the amount. So if you decide to post every day, just make sure that you're ready to push out that much content in a high quality way. So a lot of my clients, for them, it's just been a lot easier to commit to, I'm going to post 3 photos on my feed every week, but I'm going to always be on my story. And so that's where your behind the scenes come in. You can still be selling your programs. You can still be showing them the consistencies of your workout, all on the stories. And that's also going to be a great way to show up at the top of people's feeds where they're not even scrolling. So you kind of have to think about the story and the feed as almost 2 separate social media accounts, right? So when you get on your story or your Instagram personally, what are you doing? Are you scrolling the stories first or are you going down the feed? So it's kind of a personal preference.
Any other questions? What about them? Where should they be posted? Okay, we have all the questions about hashtags.
Okay, all the hashtags. Okay, so hashtags are great. You definitely want to use them. I would say 11 or more. So it's kind of one of those things. You can use up to 30. I would encourage you to stay away from the really, really big hashtags, the 1 million plus hashtags. You can use 1 or 2 of them, but they're probably going to drown out a little bit. So I would stay in the range of the 100,000s of hashtags. And then I would go and try to get into your little niches, right? So I'm a mom of 2 or a mom of boys or a mom of girls or at-home workouts. And then there's also an app that I actually just found out about this morning. So you guys should probably download this. It's called Focal Point. Focal Mark, FOCALMARK. And so that's a great little app. It'll kind of help you generate hashtags if you're at a loss for them. And then you can also go down the hashtag wormhole if you just want to search hashtags. You can follow hashtags now, which are great. So it's another way. It's kind of like if someone gave you a raffle and they were like, okay, this is your raffle. You can win $10,000. Are you going to just pick 10 or are you going to use all your chances? So it's just another way. But if you're going to hashtag, don't put it right in your, right underneath your comments or right underneath your caption. I would definitely space down a couple. So you kind of hide your hashtags because they look a little spammy and obnoxious. So I try to hide your hashtags either in the first comment of your photo or, you know how you can space period, and it kind of drops it down a little bit and you hide them. Does that answer the question?
Any other thing on hashtags? Should you post the hashtags right away or should you wait a few hours and then post the hashtags?
Post them right away. The couple hours after doesn't really work anymore. It doesn't like push your photo up at all.
I have a question, Tori. So I'm working with Tori. We just started. So she's just helping me do a 9 square right now. She gives me, anyway, point is, I had a question about, as you remember in Beachbody, we were not big on just sending them to your website.
Yeah.
But you recommended having that in our bio. So knowing what you know about Beachbody, what's your take on that for us? Or Linktree.
Or what?
Linktree.
What's Linktree?
Have you heard of Linktree? Oh, well.
So Linktree, yeah. So Linktree is what most of us have been using, and yeah, it's just free, but it gives you that one, link that you click, and it opens up within Instagram, so it doesn't send you off, and there's additional tabs. So it's like, fill out my application for my challenge group, fill out my application for coaching, go to my website, all of that, and then they can click that, and then it takes them off. So instead of just having one link, it allows you to link to everything. So that's what we've been using.
Yep. So I would put whatever link you want them to go to. That's what should go in your bio. So if you're using Linktree, if you have like a, like what she was saying, if they're trying to get on and you're asking them a couple questions, to get their email or to get whatever you need to add them to your challenge group, that's what you'd put in their bio, versus, you know, pushing them to your landing page or to the initial Beachbody site. If you're using Linktree, then definitely put that there.
Thank you. Any other questions for Tori?
I know she said to ask your experience about if you like what is she like? Do you do like in general, like
For the
shorter captions or?
I know what she'll say because I asked the same thing. They want to know, and this is what we just talked about the other day on the phone. You said sometimes shorter captions work, sometimes longer captions work, but what do you really think works?
So I kind of go back and forth. I like doing a little bit of both. And if I'm being honest, I like shorter captions better. But then there's times where I'm feeling inspired or there's really something on my heart and I want to write something longer and people really engage with that. And so I wish I could give you a right answer, but it really is up to, I think this is where you kind of have the power on your page, right? So when I post just photos of my friends, normally it's just a sentence, right? So it's just like, love this girl, or this girl brightened my day, or whatever. If it's something where I'm posting something from the heart, which is normally my white background photos, a lot of times I'll make those a little bit longer because those are my quote unquote inspiring photos, but that's not always the case. Consistency is key. So if you don't want to write a lot or you don't have time for it, people like short, quick, to the point. They'll actually read it. So if you are going to post something super long, make sure that it's really engaging in the first 2 sentences so they actually want to click the more, you know. So that's kind of where, if you're a good writer, that's great. That's not my personal strong suit, so I stick to the shorter captions. Is that what you thought I was going to say, Dara?
Yep. Well, I thought you were going to say, she keeps telling me again, I've asked her about time of day. She goes, you just got to post some things, post purposely at different times, and then look at the insights and see when people are looking. Then you can go with that strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I would say that about your short and long posts too. You can look at those. Are these getting more engagement or are these getting more engagement? So it's kind of trial and error for the first 9 to 12 posts, and then you can maybe come up with a strategy.
Yeah, I would say 12.
Do you feel like that is consistent because of different time zones? So like it might work good for the Eastern time zone depending on who's following you, but then if they're on the West Coast, like those followers would see that post around their lunchtime. So yeah. I feel like, are you ever really going to have a magic number? Like my post at 8 o'clock is going to work if you have people always follow you.
Yeah, I still think there is.
This is what I would say to that is, on your insights, you can actually see where your followers are. So like most of my followers are all East Coast. I don't have a ton of people on the West Coast, so I'm not really as concerned with their time zone. Most of my followers on are at 9 p.m. East Coast time. And so I know that most of my West Coast people aren't even going to see that until they they will see it, because if I'm posting at 9, then they're seeing it at like 6, and then it's still kind of fine. But it's going to show you on your insights also when your people are the most engaged. And that could differ per day, right? So like say Mondays, they're super engaged around lunchtime, but Fridays they're engaged at night. And that's where you just have to use your insights and you have to trust them. But it can also be a double-edged sword, right? So if you're competing against a lot of really popular accounts, maybe it would work better if you post at a time that people aren't crazy active in posting all the time, because maybe you'll kind of drown out with all the other people who are posting, versus if you posted it maybe an hour before or an hour after that crazy time, maybe you'd show up. But that's what I tell Dara. I'm like, you got to just test it out for a month maybe, and then look at your insights and see what's performing best. And then you can be kind of a little bit more consistent with your timing.
She said if there was one that said, do not post pictures with
what she just said.
So, but
I can't hear.
You said using the it's for your word flag and wrong. So that's
Just words.
That's for just a picture.
Like I'll show you Tori's.
Okay. So that's like not on your feed, just stories.
Any other questions before we let Tori move on with her Saturday morning?
Oh, it's Saturday.
I mean, isn't that kind of the follow-unfollow thing a little bit?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on using Captivate? The follow-unfollow thing is very big in Beachbody right now, right? So
Don't.
She says don't.
I don't recommend it at all.
Using the Captivate app.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Instagram knows, and so they can actually push you down in the algorithm. They want you using their site, right? So it's kind of one of those things where you have to be flexible and you kind of have to go with the flow of Instagram. And so if it's something where, so for me, like I have people who actually pay me to do the engagement for them. And so, but it's not an actual app, right? So I'm a person, I'm a girl, like I get what they want. And so I'm going to strategically follow the right people and engage with the right people. Versus if you're just using an app, it could look so spammy. And Instagram's kind of going to notice that, and they just don't really like that. So I don't give my stamp of approval. I'm not going to tell you to not do it. Well, actually I kind of am, but yeah. Sorry.
You still have to find. So are you familiar with Captivate?
I've heard of a lot of sites similar to it, but not that one in particular.
So this one isn't commenting for you. You're just searching by hashtags, and then you're still selecting the people.
So you're searching by account. So you find an account that you like, and then you really pick the people's accounts that you want or like it. So it's not even
Oh, you pick an account you like, and then you see the other people following those accounts, and then from
so
there.
Is it you doing it, or is it someone else doing it for you?
No, it's them doing it. It's just an app that helps you find who's following this, like so that Faithfully Fit. We could see who else is following that account, and then choose to follow some of those people and engage with those people. So it's not as computer automated.
it's not doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, so that's literally like what I would personally do is like, I would look at Faithfully Fit. I would go and see who's following her. I would start engaging with some of those people if those are my ideal clients. I just didn't know if like
it helps you do that easier.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, sure. As long as you're still doing it, then sure.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Anything else, guys? No. Tori, we loved it. Thank you so much. I will make sure they have your email in case they're interested in your services.
Cool.
And anything else you want to say about that? Promote your business?
Sure. So if you ever have any type of thing, so I love coming and doing little talks like this. So if it is with your business or your team, I can always come and talk social media, or even just like women empowering is really my heart. And then I do a Kickstart program where if this whole 9 Square aesthetic is a little bit overwhelming for you, I can actually create content for you. I can do the graphic designs. I can do all of your highlight reels. And that's a part of that Kickstart program where I'll actually text you the morning of and say, okay, here's your post. Here's your caption idea. And here's the hashtags that I recommend you using. And so depending on if you're wanting to post every day or 3 times a week, my programs, price-wise, they totally differ depending on what you've decided that you need on your account. So I do Kickstart programs, and then I also do where I would fully just take over. And so that's when I would do the engagement. I would, so at least 100 unique accounts a week I'd be engaging with for you. I'd be helping you grow your account, and then I would just be posting for you in general. So that's more of like the social media management aspect of it. But yeah, so those are my different little things that I get to do now.
That's awesome, Tori. Thank you for. I said I'd get your email. Is email the best way for people to contact you?
Email or text, either way.
Okay. Sounds good, Tori. Thank you so much, friend. We love you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Y'all have so much fun.
Follow
All
her,
right, bye guys.
Tori Cohen.
Yeah, follow me.
Tori Cohen 14. Yeah, she's adorable.
Oh yeah, follow me so I can go and see all of your stuff too.
Yeah. All right, friend. Thank you so much. We'll let you go.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, bye.